Today we'll be walking you through how to use SBAC's PPP online portal. SBAC is the Small Business Assistance Corporation, and so to start with our online portal, you are going to visit our website, which is sbacsav.com. Once you enter that URL, you are going to be taken to our homepage. You'll notice that there's an orange banner that references PPP applications. And so what you're going to want to do is click the Learn More and Apply here. You are going to be taken to our PPP page. If you want some more information on the PPP program for first time or second time loans, you can read beyond this orange button here. But if you're just ready to apply, you already kind of know what the requirements are for the loan. You are going to want to click this orange button that says click here to apply for a PPP loan. And that is going to take you to our final page before you get into our actual application portal. And you'll notice that there are some disclaimers here, disclosures. You'll want to read those over before you hit the final orange button that says apply for a PPP loan. You may have heard that the PPP program has been extended through May 31st of this year, and that is true. Our office will be accepting applications through May 28th, so just keep that in mind. And lastly, before you hit this orange button, you're going to want to make sure that you have your documents together for the portal. And so first, you'll want to have your business return for either 2019 or 2020. Your business return is going to vary depending on your business type. So you may have a Schedule C form, 1120S, etc. If you have employees, we'll want to see your payroll reports for either 2019 or 2020. And if you file quarterly 941s, we would like to see those. And lastly, just a clear photo of your driver's license as the business owner. If there are multiple owners, you'll want to make sure that you have pictures of the other owner's driver's license as well. The first part of the application process will just be for business owners that file a Form Schedule C. Alrighty, and now you should see the very first page of our online portal. It gives you a brief summary of what the Paycheck Protection Program is, and then it gives you two options. You can either start a brand new application with us, or you can continue your application. So this would be if you started entering some information, but you weren't ready to submit. Today, we're going to select Start New Application, and it'll bring you to a page that asks for your email address. This email will be linked to your application, so it would definitely be helpful if you're using an email that you check often. That's the same email address that we'll use if we ever need to get in touch with you. And so I'll go ahead and enter my email here. And once you've entered your email address, you can hit send email. I've actually already done this part, but normally you just hit that button and then you'd receive an email from us. And I'll show you what that email looks like. So the email is going to come from notifications@venturesgo.com. VenturesGo is our online portal, and it's going to give you two ways that you can actually start entering your PPP application data. One is to just click the link, or you can copy this URL and put it into a web browser. Today we're just going to click the link. And now we're here in the actual PPP portal, and you'll see that it auto saves as you go. So definitely keep that in mind. To start with, I have entered some information already, but generally it's going to save your email address right away, and then you'll have to start filling things out. One thing to also note is that there are tabs at the very top of the application, and this is just showing how far along you are in the application process. Whenever you're on a certain tab, it will turn to a dark blue, so that way you kind of know where you're at. So I've entered my contact information. This is our main office line here. And now it's getting into the general information. So you'll want to let us know if this is your very first PPP loan or if you're applying for a second PPP loan for your business. For this example, our business is Temporary Inc., and this is our first time PPP loan. So our answer is no. And it also asks if the business files a Schedule C. So since this is for Schedule C filers, we're going to click yes. And now it's going to ask what amount you're going to be using to calculate your PPP loan. Don't worry, we'll get to more of that later. And it gives you two options. Generally, you're going to just click gross income, and then you can go ahead and start entering your information about your business. If you don't know what your business established date is, you can always check your Secretary of State docs with State of Georgia or South Carolina and just enter in the date that's listed there. This NAICS code relates to the business type. And so you may find that number on your Schedule C or your business license with the city or county that you operate in. It just depends. For this example, we just picked a random one. So this is pipe and pipe fitting manufacturing. But of course, it'll change depending on what type of business you're in. And then you'll want to list what entity type you are. For this example, we're just going to be a sole proprietor with no employees. And we've got our business phone number if it's different from the owner's number. And then we also have our size standard. Generally, you don't have to change this. If you are an alternative size standard or something else, you can change it if you need to. And then lastly, you'll just put your business address, and you're going to check off what you believe you'll be using the PPP loan for. So since we are just a sole proprietorship, we'll want to make sure that we're using majority of it towards payroll costs for ourselves. And so I'll just select payroll costs. And once you're finished filling out the first page, you can click next, and it'll take you to loan details tab. So I've already entered files, and this kind of shows you that you can delete a file if you accidentally put one in. But basically, the very first thing it's going to ask you for is to upload a signed copy of the SBA PPP form, either 2483 or 2483C. So since this portion of the video is for Schedule C filers, you'll want to click 2483C. And you'll notice at the top, it does say it's an application form for Schedule C filers. And it is PDF fillable. You can definitely fill it out completely electronically. If you prefer to print it out and fill it out by hand, that's fine as well. And you'll want to make sure that you're initialing your responses to questions 5 and 6. That way you're just confirming what your response was, whether it's yes or no. And you do want to make sure that you're signing the signature line here. You can do that electronically or by hand. That's totally fine. So you get this, and you're going to want to save it to your computer. Make sure that you're filling out this application using either a laptop or desktop. The application doesn't work as well with mobile devices. So you would want to save this. You can save it to your documents. If you want to create your own folder dedicated to PPP, that's fine as well. And you'll want to save your work. Once you've signed the application, you're going to hit select file and upload your signed application. And it would look just like this. If you accidentally put the wrong thing, you can always hit that X and just re-upload. The next question is going to ask whether you have employees or not. For this example, Temporary Inc. does not have any employees, so we're going to leave that. And now it's going to ask you to pull some information from your Schedule C. So it's going to ask you to look at your Schedule C and specifically line 7. That's going to be your gross income. So for this example, we're using our 2019 Schedule C. You can opt for 2020 if you'd like. And I'm entering what our gross income was, which we'll say is $15,000. Once you've, let's see, once you've entered that, you'll notice that some things were auto-filled. The auto-filled information is highlighted in like a darker gray. So it's listing what the gross income was again, dividing that amount by 12. So this $1,250 is actually what my monthly payroll costs would be as calculated by the portal. And then you'll take that $1,250 and multiply it by 2.5 to get your loan amount. So Temporary Inc. would receive $3,125. The next line is referring to the economic injury disaster loan. You only have to enter information on your economic injury disaster loan if you were funded between January 30th of 2020 and April 3rd of 2020. So if you received an economic injury disaster loan, but it was later on in 2020 or even this year, you don't have to enter anything. And the last section just brings down that PPP loan amount, and you'll go ahead and enter what your total loan amount should be, which is just this 3,125 number again. It could be higher if you had the economic injury disaster loan, because you would be able to add that to this total. But in this case, Temporary Inc. did not receive an EIDL between January and April of last year. And that's pretty much it for the our loan details tab. We're getting taken over to the job details and tax returns tab. And since we're a Schedule C filer, only the sole owner operator, the employee count will actually just be one, which is myself in this case. And clear that out. And here's where you'll upload your tax documents that we mentioned earlier. You'll notice that our portal also gives you a list of a few things that you may want to think about uploading. I'm going to select Schedule C, and that's all that this tab is requiring. You'll see it's auto saving again, and you're going to want to go to the ownership tabs. So for this example, Temporary Inc. is 100% owned by me. And so I've already entered my ownership information other than my personal address, but of course you'd want to enter that. And then it also asks for your general demographics, gender, veteran status, race, and ethnicity. And here's where you'll upload that clear photo of your driver's license. I'm not going to put my driver's license on here, but you can see that even if you have like a Word document or a PDF file with the picture, you can still upload it here. And since we do not have any other owners, we'll just kind of click through those other ownership tabs. And you can leave those blank. You don't have to enter yourself each time if you're the only owner. And now we're taken to our last tab, which is to finish the application. We give you a comment box, so if you need to let us know that you had any issues with uploading certain documents, or if you wanted to add some additional contact information here, that's totally fine. And you have two options. You can save this and finish it later, or you can go ahead and hit submit, and you'll get a message saying that we've received your application, and the next steps would be for our office to review your application and kind of follow up with you on any next steps. All right, guys, we're getting into the second half of the video, which is going to be the application process for non-Schedule C filers. And I'm going to go ahead and share the portal. The portal is exactly the same for business owners that don't file a Form Schedule C. So it's going to ask you for the same information that we went over for Schedule C filers. For this example, the business will still be Temporary Inc., and this will still be our first draw PPP loan. So the answer is no, but this time our answer to whether we've filed a IRS Form 1040 is no. And you'll notice that now it just takes us right to the business name information. So all of this will stay the same, but the business entity type can change. And for this example, will be a C Corp. You'll still want to enter that business address, and then the loan purpose may change. So Temporary Inc. has 9 employees in this example, and so Temporary Inc. will go ahead and use the PPP loan towards payroll costs as well as rent payments. If your business needs to use it for other expenses, you can always select more. We'll hit next. And under here, instead of clicking the 2483C form, you're just going to hit 2483. And this is going to take you to the borrower application form for non-Schedule C filers. So you'll see that we've got several options for your business entity type. And then the rest of the application is very similar. It's still a PDF fillable file. You'll still want to initially to confirm your responses to questions 5 and 6 right here. And then you'll still want to make sure that you sign that signature line and save this to your laptop or desktop. And once you've filled it out, you're going to upload your Form 2483 to this tab. And now it's saved. For non-Schedule C filers, you are going to see this new tab here. It's going to ask you to upload a completed Excel calculator or your payroll report, since you do have employees in this scenario. So I'll go ahead and show you what that Excel sheet looks like. So this is something that our office offers for non-Schedule C filers in case they are a non-seasonal business that wants to enter their information and have it calculated in the sheet. If you're a seasonal business, we've got a box for you here. A new business can use this option. This tab is for second draw PPP loans, but we won't go over that. So if you decide to use this calculator, you'll fill in the information as needed and you can save it to your computer. And after you've saved it, you can upload it to this tab here. So these drop boxes do accept Excel sheets as well. And lastly, you are going to want to certify that the information you put in your Excel calculator or your payroll report is true and correct. And for this example, it is only asking for your average monthly payroll, which you should be able to calculate from your report. We put that our average monthly payroll is $15,000, and it's going to auto multiply by 2.5 to get the loan amount. So Temporary Inc. as a C Corp is eligible for $37,500. And the bottom portion is pretty much the same as what it looked like for Schedule C filers. It'll ask you about your economic injury disaster loan. You only have to enter that if you received it between January and April of last year. If you received it after that, you can just leave it blank. And the loan amount that it calculated was that 37,500 number. So we'll just enter that here. And now the job details and tax returns tab is the exact same thing. This time we'll put that we have 10 employees, including the owner, that would make 10. And your tax filing, so instead of a Schedule C, you could just upload your Form 1120S or your partnership Form 1065. If you want to upload your quarterly 941s here, you can do that as well. And then it's going to give you those same options for owners. In this case, temporary ink is still 100% owner, just one. And you can upload that picture of your driver's license. Of course, I'm just going to kind of stick something in rather than putting my actual driver's license. And same thing, you can go through the ownership tabs. You don't have to fill it in multiple times. And you have the same option for the comments where you can put any information that you want us to know. And you can either save it or submit. And so that's pretty much it as far as the PPP application portal with SBAC. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Our office line is 912-232-4700. Thank you.